Let's bring on Ric Bucher covering the NBA for 30 years. 30 years. He's got...
Grinding his teeth when you're talking about the husband and wife fighting. That's my first question. And two, I'm not so sure about this idea that dinner between Bill and Mac is going to work, because since you and I had dinner, a couple nice Cubans afterward, I mean, what I thought was a really nice evening, we haven't...
I ghosted you.
We haven't... Yeah, pretty much that was it. It was apparently something went wrong. So I'm not full on board with, sometimes a dinner can take you the right way and sometimes it can take you off the cliff.
Who canceled dinner this week?
That was last week. I told you.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay.
Okay, let's start with this. I think it was fairly predictable. Sack wins game one, biggest game in a decade.
Yeah.
Wiggins is not quite ready to give you 39 minutes. I thought he melted a little bit in the fourth quarter.
Sure.
I think they win game two. I think they're a great adjusting team.
Mm-hmm.
I just think they're waiting for Wiggins to get all his wind back. I just don't think he's quite there yet. Now, he needs to get there in the next 4 games.
Yeah.
But your takeaway on game one.
I'm not concerned about the Warriors still winning this series, but I do think that they made the road a little tougher because Sacramento now gained a lot of confidence. If Wiggins hits the 3 in the corner, or Steph hits the runner and we go to OT and somehow the Warriors eke that out, then this is a short series. I do believe now the Kings think they can play with them. I need to see them in the Chase Center first. And I do believe that the Warriors are more capable of stealing a game in Sacramento than Sacramento is capable of stealing a game in the Chase Center. So that's where it stands. Now, because of everything that they ask Steph to do, and because of the age of Draymond and Clay, and I hate to continue to beat this drum, like they can't afford to have series go longer.
That's right.
Than necessary if they still want to have a shot at winning it all this year or getting to the finals. So that's again where it does some damage, but I don't think that it's fatal.
Okay, so I want to move to a guy you covered for years, KD.
Okay.
So I have seen examples. I thought Westbrook got up on him yesterday and gave him trouble.
Yep.
I thought Pat Bev did a few years ago when he was a Warrior, got in his space, gave him trouble. Mm-hmm. He generally finds his way out of it. But I thought J-Mac hit on something. 1 shot, 6.5 minutes. Where's Monty Williams? Where's Chris Paul? Yeah. I don't put this all on Kevin Durant. I just don't. There are times certain teams handle rest better. I thought all that, because they didn't play Kevin Durant in the last couple games. I thought they didn't have any urgency early, and then I thought it was some bad coaching late on Phoenix.
Yeah, I was a little confused by that, but KD is always a tricky star to deal with. There are times where you would think KD has been through this. KD is aggressive. KD, you don't need to tell him what to do. Right. He's going to demand the ball and he's going to go get it done. And it's just not the way that he always operates. There's times where he will go get it. He will say, I'm in charge. And there's other times where you kind of have to prod him to say, this is your time. And a little bit going back to with Luka and Kyrie, I still think there's an element between KD and Devin in terms of splitting the pie. Like who's supposed to go get it? Because you saw a lot of Devin at the end where I don't know that was necessarily the best matchup. So that it's something they have to figure out, and it's something that Monty has to figure out. Because if you're asking the players to, these are not those kind of players. As great as KD is, as willing as he is to put it on his shoulders, same with Devin Booker, he's not the Michael Jordan, get out of my way, no questions asked.
Or Kobe. I mean, I thought Devin Booker, shoot a 3, dude. It's there. Driving. And then, by the way, arguing with the official in the middle of a play.
It's why I've been slow to get on the Devin Booker bandwagon.
You have, yeah.
Because talent-wise, he's a top 15, top 20 talent. No question about it. I'd like to see him. He's improved defensively, so that's fine. But he gets caught up in these skirmishes. He gets in these battles. You're in the middle of the play. You drive and you're trying to get an and one, which is not shaky in the playoffs.
Situationally, an odd decision.
And then you're in the middle of the play and you're turning to the referee to complain, and the play's still live. If he doesn't do that, if he's still aware, he either dodges that ball that Russ is throwing back in or possibly catches it and the Suns are still in business. So that's where I'm not convinced that Devin is a winning player at this point.
Yeah. Wes, I said if you'd never seen Westbrook play and you gave somebody yesterday's tape, you'd say that's exactly what he is.
Yeah.
Offensively, not a lot of self-awareness, and he can't shoot.
Yeah.
But his energy, I called him a walking Red Bull. There's nothing like it in the league. Like he's the cardio king. Like he could just play like that forever, seemingly.
Yep. What I really respected and admired was that they were trying to get the ball to Kawhi Leonard, could not get it to him on that last possession. And Russ finally decided, I have to go do something. Now, this is a guy who was 3 for 19 at that point.
No, I mean, short, close, mid-range, deep. He couldn't hit anything.
He couldn't.
Bad misses.
But the ability and the awareness to say, I can't get it there. We need to get a shot up. I'm not gonna give it to someone else. I'm not gonna put that responsibility on them. I've had the ball most of the shot clock, and then gets to the middle and gets to the free throw line and makes the free throws. I have all the respect in the world. Now, did I think he was gonna make both? I did. With the way things were going, not at all. But the fact that he had that awareness and willingness. Look, when you're 12 for 19, it's easy as hell to go, yeah, okay, I can't get it there. Let me go. You're 3 for 19, and game 1 is on the line, and you go, you know what? I'm going to put it on my shoulders. Utmost respect for it. That's what you get from Russ.
That's why a lot of guys in the league respect him.
No, 100%.
Total alpha, doesn't care. Last night he battled with fans. Yep. Last night he was 3 for 19, and last night he gave you energy. I mean, it was so obvious that once he struggled from the field as badly as he was, he's like, yeah, that's bad. I got to make stuff happen elsewhere. It almost energized him. Yep. Every miss made him play harder on the defensive end. Because we've talked about this. There are times he mails in defense. I mean, he could be, if this is what he could be every night, but I think he was shooting so poorly, he was like, okay, this is bad.
I can't help but feel like the whole Lakers experience for him is fueling this right now.
Yeah.
Being in the same city.
Yeah.
Being on the team, down the hall. And he's playing different with them.
He is.
Like his whole thing, he was still hung up on, I'm a star, I'm a triple-double star, I'm a guy who can make shots. And now he's like, I can be an energy guy. I can be an effort guy, and I want to show that I can still be a winning player. Yeah,
because in the Lakers, I'd heard this in the building, they were really disappointed with his defense. Like he had such great athleticism, and they didn't give you much in the defensive end. It's almost like he went cross town and said, okay, I totally agree. I'll prove it to you. Let's talk about the Lakers. I think one of the great things that a Magic LeBron's one of the smartest players ever. Not just in game, the way he strategically has used the right agents, used his leverage. I just finished the Jeff Benedict book on LeBron. There's so many great stories. He's made mistakes like everybody else in the public eye for 20 years, but he's a smart basketball player. And I thought yesterday was a real moment that LeBron knows at 38. Yeah, like Andrew Wiggins hasn't caught his wind. That's not LeBron's issue. His is he's 38.
Right,
and in the fourth, he just stepped back, and he let Rui and Reeves, and I'm like, it's very graceful. Not every star ages like that. LeBron is so smart that he's like, you know what? Rui is out of his mind. AD's in control, and I thought it was a really impressive moment for LeBron going, okay, I can watch some of this.
Yeah, he did it. He started the game like that too. He stood back. He was very, very passive. He allowed kind of the game to come to him. I really think he, at 38, is looking at it going, if we're going to go anywhere, I've got to be able to stay on the floor, and I can't do everything. And look, if you look at the numbers during the season, they are a far better team when he is a complimentary player than when he's their top scorer.
Yeah.
And that's what I didn't understand from the Grizzlies standpoint. Now, can the Austin Reeves Rui Hachimura two-man game lead you to a championship?
No.
I don't think so. But I love this Lakers team. Somehow the Lakers have become the underdog. And in spite of the names and everything that they have, and I thought they played such a smarter brand of basketball.
I thought the third quarter was as good as they can play. I thought it was pretty. It was a really nice complimentary game.
At this point, I don't even want to put, to set a bar for them. I'm just enjoying seeing this team evolve, to see when did I don't know if Anthony Davis is a soap opera star at this point or he's John Wick, because we've had I can't feel my arm, my ankle's broke. We've had all that, but usually he doesn't come back.
I know
it's over for a month.
Totally different player in the last 20, 30 days.
I don't know who got to him or what has happened, or whether it's we're just going to amplify everything and make it look like I'm recovering from things that used to take me under. But regardless, I love seeing this Anthony Davis. And so I don't want to put a bar on what the Lakers can be at this point. I'm just going to sit back and enjoy seeing them be way more than I'll admit. They've been way more to this point than I expected them to be.
Okay, I don't want to overreact.
Yeah.
I do not want to overreact, but...
Oh, here we go. J-Mac, you've heard this before, right?
No, never.
By the way, talk about people doing things in the public eye for 20 years and making their mistakes like everybody. Colin, you'd like...
No, I've had my days.
Really?
So,
We got
a lot of mistakes in the playoffs or issues are correctable. Warriors, Andrew Wiggins gets more reps. Giannis doesn't get hurt. But I watched the Knicks series against the Cavs. The Knicks are top 2 in the league in second chance opportunities becoming points.
Yeah.
They had 23 points against the Cavs in second chance opportunities. They're the second best rebounding team in the league. That is a problem.
Yeah.
And Jared Allen and Mobley are not thick physical players like a Robinson. And I watched that game and I'm like, oh, we got a matchup problem.
Yeah.
The Cavs are in trouble here. There were times the Knicks, in one sequence, I think the Knicks got 4 offensive rebounds in one sequence, 3 or 4. And I'm like, I'm not sure that's fixable for Cleveland.
It should be, because of the athleticism on their front line. Evan Mobley and Jared Allen, and the one issue I would say, and I didn't do a deep dive on the numbers, is where are those offensive rebounds coming from? Because the one thing that the Knicks have with the Cavs is they have a lot of length on the wings.
Yeah.
And they still haven't figured out. This is why I didn't think that the Cavs were going to go deep into the playoffs. I did expect them to win this series, and I still think they can. But integrating Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland, they haven't quite figured that out even to this point, how you make both of them equal threats. It becomes the show of one or the other, a little bit like the KD Russ in OKC situation. And the other problem is, and this is the other question, where can Julius Randle be this kind of guy? It was only 19 and 10, but he made some big shots at big times. Where is the scoring on the front line from the Cleveland Cavaliers going to come from? Evan Mobley doesn't have that kind of game. Jared Allen doesn't have that kind of game. So they have to win the effort battle. I believe that they can. I also would like to see, even though the Cavs were last in the league in pace during the regular season, they need to play faster.
Yeah.
This is in Tom Thibodeau's wheelhouse.
Yes, they played a Knicks game.
This tempo.
It is.
They need to pick it up.
It is interesting though, in maybe not in football, but in college basketball, the Final Four got lousy ratings because we didn't have a Duke or a Kansas. And the NBA has survived and thrived economically without the Knicks. But it is more fun to have the Knicks.
Knicks, Lakers,
it's
100%.
Just, and but I get the Lakers. It's like the Knicks, those games at Madison Square Garden on television, they just look different.
Yeah.
And by the way, it feels like every Knicks team, you can go back to Willis Reed, because Walt Frazier was a great defensive player. The Pat Riley teams, they're never pretty.
No.
Even Jalen Brunson is a second-round guy from Villanova, which is they grind you stay there 3 or 4 years. It is just such, most Laker teams that have been great are flashy.
Yeah.
When the Knicks are really good, it's tough, it's resilient, it's inartistic.
Pretty much.
I just kind of like them in the playoffs.
Pretty much. Yeah. Yeah. They are a brand.
Their brand is kind of tough.
That stayed consistent.
They're Big East
throughout.
basketball.
Yes.
Not always the prettiest, but the toughest.
Yes. Yeah.
Tibbs is a good fit for that team.
He is. The one thing that has surprised me a little bit is that, and maybe it's more a function of what the Cavs were, is that the Knicks usually, or Tom Thibodeau teams, don't traditionally do well in the postseason because he maximizes who they are in the regular season.
With effort.
They play close to their margin.
Right. And they play hard.
And they play hard. And now everybody elevates in the postseason. Everybody plays hard, and they have more talent. It's only one game. This is going to be a long series. I still feel like Cleveland has every opportunity to win it.
They got a lot of shot makers. I mean, they can score. The Cavs can score quickly.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, and again, I think that the offensive rebounding, much like it took the Warriors under, I do think that is fixable.
Okay.
With what the Cavs, I don't think it's just big bodies. I think there's just a matter of their bigs, Jared Allen and Evan Mobley, have to get busy on the boards.
Almost everything's fixable. My ears aren't, but almost everything else. Yeah, I could get hair plugs. I could do bicep lifts. I could fix almost all the flaws here. Ears, I'm stuck with them. I'm just telling you, most stuff is fixable.
Do you have a problem with your ears, or
I don't know where that came from. The point being is, even in basketball, most stuff is fixable. I'm just not sure I'm not sure that the Cavs. I think the Knicks are going to out-rebound them in every single game.
Okay. We'll see. I will say this, just to kind of take a step back. This was a glorious weekend to start the playoffs.
It was great.
We had so many games that created more questions. We had questions coming in.
Yeah.
Now we have more questions as a result of what happened over the weekend. I just absolutely. I mean, other than Boston, Atlanta.
Yeah.
And Denver, Minnesota, we've got more intrigue than ever.
In the NFL, you have to play hard always or you get hurt. Yeah. Same in hockey. When you're on the ice, you got to play 100% or you get hurt. MLS, you don't have many games. Playoffs, regular season, guys play hard.
Yeah.
Baseball is about pitching, and all pitchers individually. Sure. Doesn't matter if it's April or October. They're trying to give you their best stuff. March, college basketball. Those kids all play hard. They're not making any money. NBA is different. Unique bodies, long travel, regular season intensity is one thing.
Yep.
But when you watch LeBron sprinting down the floor, how many guys jumped in the stands to get a loose ball? I mean, playoff basketball does not look like the regular season.
No.
It is so intense. Guys fighting through screens. You're not doing that in a 6-game roadie.
The guys that I've talked to who experienced the playoffs for the first time, afterward, they were so exhausted. I said, what's the number one thing you learned? He goes, it takes everything out of you. And this is guys play 82 games, don't feel the same way. They play a 6-game series, and they're like, I'm done for the next 2 weeks. It's that tough, which this is a whole other subject, is why we have issues with all these injuries.
Yes.
Because we have games, but teams don't practice 5-on-5 anymore. Mm-hmm. So their bodies are not built.
Right.
And practices are generally harder than the games. They've taken that out of the equation. That's why we've got what we've got. And somehow they need to get back to that.
Well, NFL's got the same issue with offensive linemen. They don't hit as much. And offensive line play it's never been in my life this bad, and yet the athletes are all better.
Yeah.
So, Ric Bucher, good stuff.